Pride comes before the fall, and no, we're not talking about Kitty Pride. No, it was a different kind of pride that took down Marvel and sent them into a poor Phase 4, a Phase 5 dive, and perhaps a sick Phase 6. But they're trying to fix it now. And can they do so? Well, the stock market today crashing might have something to say when it comes to Marvel taking any kind of risk going forward. Now, you may see a major backlash as the intense and deeply devoted wokies say, pale, male, stale? Oh, no. Hello, folks. It's a dandy of a day. We're streaming to you from somewhere sunny USA. The studio is, well, just as positive as it can be on a day such as today, when many of you out there are suffering if you own stocks. But folks, do not fret not yet, for we are going to bring to you the truth as you expect us to do. We've got a panel of greatness here. Culture Casino and Marvin the Movie Monster, how are both of you today?
Oh, well, you know...
Culture pointing at the camera is not an answer to how are you, sir. What are you doing over there?
I thought he was pointing at me.
I was trying to point at Marvin, but no, I'm great. I'm fantastic. I'm officially licensed over here on that Park Place affiliate channel, WDW Pro. I'm also licensed out to that game place. I'm great. I'm officially licensed everywhere now.
I too am officially licensed to that game place.
Oh, man, we are everywhere, folks, but we are enjoying it and having a good time. Hope you are, too. As we dive in, consider clicking that like button today. We're going to be talking about Marvel. But before we get to Marvel, we got to talk about this. This is the big news of the day. And if folks tell you out there that they know what's going to happen with the stock market, well, they're lying to you because we do not know yet. There are global events that may take place, may not take place, will dramatically affect what happens with stocks. And there's no way to know the answer to that. But right now, we are in a global sell-off. This is out of the Wall Street Journal. Stock market today, Dow, S&P 500, NASDAQ slide amid global sell-off. Japan is down 12% with their market, biggest since the 1987 post-Black Monday crash. And some of the bigger stocks taking a hit are Apple. Various AI companies are taking a big hit. Tech companies taking a hit. Disney is not going down dramatically, but I suspect, gentlemen, that has something to do, although I am giving no financial advice here, with investors waiting until Wednesday to make any kind of big decision with Disney and what will happen there. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I bring up the stocks, and I don't mean to make anyone sick out there who is heavily invested in the stock market, but the reason I bring it up is because when you have the potential of recession, which now is on the table, it causes companies and corporations to cut risk, clearly. Well, what we've been watching out of Marvel for years and out of Star Wars is highly risky behavior in terms of the marketplace, and it has cost Disney dearly, especially in the toy aisle, in cultural relevance. I mean, kids today really don't know what Star Wars is. They remember it as something they watched on Disney Plus when Disney Plus started. Oh, yeah, it's baby Yoda. That's all they know. But they're not watching it anymore. Marvel has some relevancy remaining still, as we can see with Deadpool and Wolverine. And it may be that Disney is willing at this point to cut a significant amount of the risk by going back to what worked with Marvel and the MCU. Let me show you this to you. So guys, take a look at this. It's out of X-Men Updates. This is one of the bigger X accounts that follows the X-Men. It's also seemingly a political account, and it's on the left. It says, let the campaign for Daphne Keene to be the MCU Wolverine begin. Now, that is clearly not something that many people want. They've got 11,000 likes, but I think that's dubious because if you look at the comments, what you see is, here's someone named Brian saying, yes, let's change every main male character into their female counterpart. That's the answer, sort of snidely, getting 1,000 likes on that. An X-Men Update says it is, and posts Kamala, proof, of course, by the way, that they are political. You've got someone saying, oh, hell nah. X-Men Updates responds and says, oh, hell yes. You've got this person saying, why can't we just have a blanking X-23 and Wolverine like a normal thing? And then they've got another defense. And you can keep going on this. It says, Ryan Reynolds from Lorena Creole. But why? Steve, you know what, Lorena? I'll like that one too. Steven with Nah, make entertaining content instead. Twin War, that's a horrible idea. She's already her own character. Luminaire with no, Logan is the only Wolverine. It's time we had a male Black Widow and more. You get the idea.
Chris Pine.
Guys, I think Chris Pine. I think it's over. I think that even those who follow these left-leaning accounts, they're over it. They don't want any more of the MCU, and that means the market has to get away from this. It means that it is now even more risky for Disney to continue it. Marvin, you lead us off. What are your thoughts on this? Have we reached the end of the MCU era, the Phase 5 dive? Is it now? Are we going to heal the sick Phase 6?
I would love to say yes. I want to believe it. Chris Gore, when he was on the Critical Drinkers show, he made the point that Marvel has fired a lot of its activist, producers, which I know you guys have reported on as well. I would like to believe that this is the case. You got to think that any responsible executive is looking at the results that they're getting. Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and they're comparing that to things like Lightyear, to things like Strange World, to the Marvels, to the Eternals, like these major failures. And now, at a time of such financial uncertainty, you have to go with where the money is, because you've got shareholders that you're responsible to. And if Marvel was willing to ignore that in the quest to further its political agenda, what would that make them? Well, it would make them Lucasfilm. But I do think that Kevin Feige is a little bit more, I don't want to say self-serving, but he's a survival. Survival at all costs. I think
he's a legacy guy. He doesn't want his legacy to be that he destroyed the biggest, the most lucrative Golden Goose franchise in the history of entertainment. He doesn't want to go out that way.
The thing we have to remember, though, Pro, is that as Chris Gore said, these movies take years to go from concept to creation. And so we're going to see over the next several years, we've got the Captain America Brave New World coming out. We've got Agatha all along. We've got Ironheart coming down the pipeline, the Thunderbolts. These movies were all made under that Victoria Alonso era. And we're going to see more of the MCU for the next couple of years. So even if Marvel is done with the MCU, we're still going to have to deal with the MCU probably for another 3 years at least.
So one of the big complaints that I've had recently is, they say, Pro, do not believe that Disney is going to make a pivot at all. Do not believe it. Look what they're bringing out, Captain America. And I'm like, well, yeah, with Marvel, and I'm not talking about Disney more broadly, but Marvel, they're stuck with this junk that they have to flush out. If I were them, I'd cancel it and take the tax write-off if they can. But they're stuck with it, and they're going to release it. But so it's going to take a while to get through to this. Coach, I want to go to you though on this this particular question. That is, I don't know how the true believing wokies are going to handle this, because the way they're going to perceive it, not the way that you, I, nor Marvin perceive it, but the way they're going to perceive it is that Marvel is going to the stale and pale male leads of yesteryear to come back and save them. And they're not going to like that Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, etc. are going to be called upon to save this franchise. They're not going to like that. Now, I want to get your comment on that. I've got an idea of what the anecdote to the antidote to what they've been saying is. But you take that. Do you think they're going to screech, and do you think that Marvel will acquiesce to it?
I think it's a given, and Marvel won't acquiesce to it. Financially, they just can't. As in the article that we've been referencing that you've written on That Park Place, or John wrote on That Park Place, you're going to hear what we've been calling the final re. The problem is they're just going to be adding to the cacophony because it's already begun. You're seeing people having to return to sensibilities and common sense in order to survive, whether that's in anything that's driven by the market economy, with Wall Street and Japan and other Western markets falling apart. But in this article, they talk specifically about removing those 15 people or so back in April. Well,
and kudos, by the way, to Chris Gore on getting that scoop. I was very early on hearing about Hugh Jackman and about that stuff, but I didn't know about the executives. That's Chris Gore's scoop, and what a great job he and Film Threat did. Yeah,
but returning to the question again, I think it's inevitable that you're going to hear more and more of the screaming, the squelching, whatever term you want to throw out there.
Belching, I'll go with that.
Well, or cackling. Wait, no, that's a different thing.
Cackling, hackling. We can have a lot of fun with these.
Yeah, but the point being is, I think it's a fait accompli, and I think we're just beginning it, because we're starting to see it happening across all forms of entertainment, not just Marvel. But sticking to Marvel, I think that this is kind of the sign of return to the center, as we were always trying to do here on WDW Pro, and that Park Place is get back to the sensible center when it comes to entertainment, so everybody can enjoy things. And the fact that there's so much pushback to what are likely bots and things like that on the internet. It's just it's time. People are just done with it. They've driven people so far away from the ideology that they've been pushing that they won't acquiesce to that noise. I not only will Marvel not acquiesce to that noise after 2 failed television shows that are on the horizon and 2 failed movies that are on the horizon. They have to return to profitability, and it's been outlined and proven time and time again. When you don't do messaging, you make profits. And Disney just had that lesson taught again, which elevated their annual box office to $4 billion so far this year, finally, because they were so far behind and Apes didn't do very well. So if it weren't for Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine, they would be in a catastrophic hole of failure.
A maelstrom of misery, one might say.
Yes.
So let me tell you the antidote, I think, to this, and I think that is coming. We're going to hear the screeching. We're going to hear the preaching about how you need to go back to DEI, how that ESG is the way to be with corporations and entertainment, and you need to be on the right side of history, all of that. The antidote to all of it, I believe, is one word: Blade. When I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine, one of the biggest moments for the entire audience was when Blade appeared, when Wesley Snipes was on the screen. And I don't think that it has anything to do with the color of one's skin. I think it has to do with being respectful of the source material. And I do think that there is room sometimes to cast in a way that's not necessarily totally accurate to what was in the comic books. But this fervent desire for, just unrequited, unstopping desire to change every single character you possibly can so that you completely fill up the spreadsheet of your actor portfolio with people that they deem to be diverse in whatever way they are currently deeming it. That, I think, is what's going to go away. I think this, non-stop seeking after, anybody except a white male. That really, I think, is what has to go away now. Marvin?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that the thing with Blade is people came to love Blade because they loved him as a character. They loved him in at least one of his 3 movies, because the other ones weren't as great. But if you think back to when Blade came out, none of the marketing surrounding Blade, none of the press tours or anything like that was about, oh, isn't this so great? We finally have a diverse male lead. Nobody was talking about Wesley Snipes being black. People were just talking about, hey, we got this cool new character. His name's Blade. He kicks vampire butt. And then you went and you saw it, and you saw a cool character who kicked vampire butt, and there was no political messaging involved in it. Nobody was sitting there like, well, Deacon Frost represents the white male patriarchy, and Blade. There was none of that, because it didn't exist at that point, because people could just take a character at face value. And that is, I think, what we need back. We need characters. I would love to see a Luke Cage movie. I would love to see things like that. Characters that are were made to be the specific race, gender, orientation, whatever you want to say, without having to change something that already exists. And at the end of the day, what I always say, I even look at let's say the most successful race swap in the history of comics, right? Miles Morales. Miles Morales will never be Spider-Man, despite his popularity. He will always be Black Spider-Man.
That's why I was going to say Nick Fury when you said the most successful race swap.
Oh yeah, I didn't even. I forgot about that. But Miles Morales will always be the Black Spider-Man, because he doesn't have his own hero identity. Because we're just giving the mantle to other people. And Steve Rogers will always be Captain America. Peter Parker will always be Spider-Man. Bruce Wayne will always be Batman. These are things that you will never change, because it's ingrained into people's collective pop culture consciousness for decades.
Well, Marvin, let me interrupt just briefly to say, to make that point even more poignant, I hope it goes the other way as well. For example, I cannot imagine, nor do I want to see, a European Storm. Storm is of African descent, and it's part of her identity. I don't want to see Storm be Asian. I want Storm to be a very powerful black lady who is a superhero.
Mm-hmm. You're 100% correct. 100% correct. And Storm is a character that could have her own movie. The beautiful thing with the X-Men is it's already this diverse, wonderful group that you don't have to really change much about in order to fit that narrative. And you could spin them off into solo films. Characters like Storm, characters like Bishop, characters like Jubilee, even, which is Mrs. Movie Monster's favorite X-Men. There's so much you can do without having to insult the fans by taking something that we know you already love and changing it to make it something that Kotaku finds more acceptable.
Culture, before we go, are you still heavily invested in Dogecoin? I think that was your advice to me a couple of weeks ago. All in on Doge.
Would have been a while ago. Yeah.
Is that our bunker right now for this worldwide possible recession?
So.
Dive into the Doge, baby.
I don't know. I don't think crypto is necessarily even the healthiest thing. I mean,
folks, please don't take anything we say financially. Don't take it seriously.
Wait. You mean fake internet money is not a sound investment?
Well,
it's almost as bad as investing in swapping all your characters out to be different than the source material. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it?
Well, hey, look. Let's just put it this way: it's a very bad investment strategy. To invest in woke ideology when it comes to entertainment or pretty much anything, because it almost certainly guarantees many points of failure, not just one, but many points of failure in what was otherwise a fairly secure investment. And Disney's been proving that left and right, and even center at this point. They have nobody to blame but themselves. And as with, many things from retail sales of, durable goods like Wayfair and places like that, I've been doing videos on the collapsing economy for the last week. And the whole reason being is because it's all been forced into this situation by irresponsibility from leadership of everything, from the government to these corporations.
Well, they thought they could hold it off a little bit longer. That's for sure.
They did. They were trying to get another 3 months out of this before it started to go the wrong way. But there are certain times you just can't keep the dam from, falling apart.
It's a pressure cooker.
Yeah. And look, when it comes to this specific thing and in entertainment and finance alike, eventually the free money runs out. The venture capitalists aren't there anymore. And a lot of this stuff that was being artificially supported by this idea that we wanted to go to, a one world, type of a management system, which would essentially, make you beholden to an entity that, basically controlled every single moment of your life. It wasn't a good investment. And because of its exposure, I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing what's happening in the global markets. But at the same time, entertainment, it suffered the same thing. And it doesn't matter if it's comics or film or whatever. So, as I go on and on and on, I'll just say that every single one of these entities made a bad investment, and they went all in on something that, everybody else was shouting at them saying, this is absolutely the wrong direction and you're going to pay for it. Well, go woke, go broke.
No. Listen, that's a great point about investing. Our philosophy here on this channel is don't fight the market. If people want us to make videos about a certain topic, I don't fight that. I embrace it. We don't do the same video over and over, but we're not sitting here saying, well, this is going to be a channel that's devoted to covering Disney and entertainment. By golly, we're going to do 15 videos a week on Tiddlywinks because that sounds fun. No, just because you get a personal passion, and that may have been the Victoria Alonso personal passion, not Tiddlywinks, but the MCU. Doesn't matter because few people tuned in to watch it. Culture, what do you got in that cup down there? What are you drinking?
Coffee. What do you mean? Of course,
I thought you might be doing tea by now. It's the afternoon.
No. I there was a little bit of extra coffee left over this morning, so yeah.
I'm still drinking coffee. Don't worry about it. I don't think I've slept in 24 hours, and I'm still doing coffee. So,
folks, that brings us to the plug of the day. Make sure you go over to www.culturecoffee.com where you can get the finest. I kid.
No, you would go to, if you want to buy anything, it would be beachpunk.com, believe it or not. But yeah, thank you.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me there is a secret website that sells culture stuff?
Yeah. WDW.
What is that again?
Beachpunk. Beach, B-E-A-C-H, punk, P-U-N-K.com. Lunchbeachpunk.com.
I'm going to go there
You heard
right
it
now.
here. Me too.
Sorry.
All right, folks, before we all go over there and start buying and spending all of the money we just pulled out of the stock market, again, no financial advice, make sure that you click that like button. It's the best investment you can do to help us out. Also, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts and share with us what coffee you would like for Culture to begin selling real soon on beachpunk.com. All right, folks, we're going to see you real soon. We've got a full week ahead. We've got the Disney earnings call, D23, and oh, me. What else will happen? Well, let's just say Bob Iger might be sweating bullets and needing those 2 showers more than ever before. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
I just found out to get WDW Pro's information, where he gets his sources. I can't believe he uses Wilton!
What?
We got a job to do. It's easy to hack into WDW Pro's computer.
You're kidding me. That's awesome. You know any other stuff?
Yeah, just Jonas Campbell told me.
Sweet.
Said Pro underpaid him or something.
A few minutes later.
There. Oh, awesome. Whatever. All I gotta do is
Whoa.
hack into this thing. It's gonna be so easy.
Yeah, this isn't
All
a
right,
hack.
grab this picture over here.
Leave it to me.
Oh, no, Wilson.
Job done. What?
No, all we had to do was use the picture because he uses face unlock. Now we gotta go to thatparkplace.com and sub to him and his team on YouTube.
Oh, well, I already did that because I'm smart.